Escape room workers of Reddit, what's the most absurd thing players have done? I interviewed for a job at an escape room. They told me that one of their standard instructions you must tell every group is to not stick things in electrical outlets because too many people did it. Escape room enthusiast here. We spent far more time than I care to admit trying to figure out what the hell the numbers written in Sharpie on the underside of the rug in the middle of the room meant. Turns out they were an inventory number from the thrift store the designer bought the thing from, and nobody else had ever noticed them before. We still won, but that wasted a lot of our time. Had a group come in. I noticed they had been drinking a little, but seemed mostly fine. So I let them into the room and start the clock. They were just wandering around. At the half-an-hour mark they were laying on the floor and rolling around. They didn't do any harm to the room. I don't remember if they even solved one puzzle. When I let them out after an hour they claimed it was fun. But they didn't really do anything? And did they remember it the next day? Ike. Somewhere there's a group of friends that love to tell about when they tried to do escape room while tripping. TBH, that actually sounds like it would be an interesting experience. I once had a group of drunk guys go in, and they ran through their allotted hints pretty quickly. They asked for another hint, and we said over the speakers that they were out of hints. One of the guys threatened to start taking off his clothes until we gave another hint. Edit, for everyone asking, we didn't even have to give him the extra hint. His friends chilled him out and ended up finding the next clue pretty shortly after that. Every time I've gone to an escape room they've asked us how detailed and/or frequent do they want us to get hints, but never said that there's a limit on hints. My assumption would be that if some people need more hints than others, then fine. Only problem comes if it's the sort of place where they offer free shit for fast times. In which case there can be conflicts with how many hints a team might want compared to what can be given. Only problem comes if it's the sort of place where they offer free shit for fast times. In which case there can be conflicts with how many hints a team might want compared to what can be given. Easy solution, each hint adds 5 or 10 minutes to your total finish time. Or you're only put on the board if you use 3 or less. Sounds like the best idea to me. Take as many hints as you want, but over a certain number your time won't count. So people can go and be more competitive or just play for the fun. In the Netherlands there's this prison escape room where everyone is a prisoner and you have to escape prison. It is done in an actual ancient prison. There are about 300 participants and 85 actors, mostly prison guards and some prisoners. They have over 15 storylines which you can follow, and there are other inmates, actors, which will lead those storylines and send you one quests. Coming back to the question, at the beginning they warned everyone that no physical contact is allowed because during the first time people would actually threaten each other to get money and guards have been attacked. Also they had to warn people that you weren't supposed to try climbing the 50 feet high prison wall. Damn, that sounds expensive. It was about 80 a person, so like a nice dinner. I looked into it a while back. Edit, people get mad at me saying 80 euros is a nice dinner. But y'all really gotta chill and realize that it's a preference thing. I know I could settle for an 8-piece chicken McNuggets, but that isn't exactly it for every occasion. I mean maintaining 85 actors and electrical supply for a whole prison. Probably a money sewer. 80 doesn't sound too expensive for such an escape room. Sometimes those actors do it for very little pay or for free, like haunt houses where actors scare people for fun. Yeah, that sounds like a blast, would totally volunteer for that. Mate worked at an escape room and he told me that some guys tried to smash a hole in the wall to get out because it was an Alcatraz-themed room. Alcatraz-themed room. Please tell me your mate had to say welcome to the Rock when starting the room introduction. Bonus points if he said with his best Sean Connery impression. Winners go home and duck the prom queen. You're bisht? Losers always whine about their bisht. Edit, The Rock is unironically in my top 5 movies ever made. The archetype of a perfect action film. Lifted up all the tiles on the ceiling. I had to wonder exactly what clue brought them to that conclusion. Nothing set up, ceiling, above. Yet every single tiles was down and, to their credit, piled in a corner. That is very nice and neat. Organization is key. Organization is key. Maybe, they mean organization as in corporation. They must mean corporation, yes. So, corporation? Key is corporation. Guys. I think I've got it. Escape Room LLC is the corporation and they have the key. But they're hostile, so we have to burn down the entire corporation. This is the only way to escape and win the game. First thing I had to learn working in an escape room, everything, yes everything, in the room was going to be dismantled, pulled on, or messed with in some way. Have a screwdriver in the room? Maybe there's a clue in the light switch cover. Black light? Must have to take it completely apart. TV for clues. Must have to unplug change inputs. And anything not nailed down is bound to be broken. I've done one where a clue was inside the thermostat, granted it was fake, but it did require unscrewing. At the escape room that I worked in we had this horror-themed room. In the room there was a real HVAC breaker panel with a big red lever and huge text saying danger, high voltage death. Given the theme of the room was horror, I thought it was part of the game and the danger sign added to the theme. Nope, turns out it was an actual functioning high voltage switch. It got boarded up and covered before we officially opened the room. Dear God, that fits the room so well, my ass would been electrocuted so fast. Seems to me that they would have won the game then. I would love to escape my responsibilities like that. One guy pissed on the wall, thinking the plaster was snow. WTF. I think he was drunk or very old and very nearsighted. Pissed on the wall. Should have gone to Specsavers. One of them believed the clue was inside them. The files are in the computer. That coconut cake recipe was worth searching. At an escape room near me they had a group of lads on a stag do. These guys got very drunk and during the escape room, thought they could escape via the sewers. They managed to rip out the manhole cover which was bolted down into concrete. This cover is now permanently broken as it's too expensive to fix, they said. Advised us to not escape via the sewers. Holy shit. Never underestimate a pissed up stag do, I guess. One time, a group was trying to figure out the code to a locked compartment. So this huge guy in the group decided this was a waste of time and tried to rip off the compartment door with his bare hands. He was almost successful, but we stopped him before he could do further damage to the door. He didn't understand what was wrong. Another one happened where a group were handcuffed and they couldn't find the key. The game master was trying to give them clues to find the key but they still couldn't find it. So one group member thought it would be best to use his leg. There was a table in the room with some items on it. He proceeded to knock over all the items with one kick. That group didn't win. Did you get Doom Guy's autograph by chance? I don't work at one but my coworker went to one last year and his story was hilarious. He's a really serious guy from Boston, got talked into going to one with his wife and a few old friends that had come down for vacation. He said as soon as they walked in he saw a broom that looked completely out of place so he grabbed it. He thought they'd need it at some point. They made it out of the first room. They go to the second room and he still got the broom. He swears it was just too out of place to not be part of the puzzle at some point. They make it through the second room. The third room, they get stuck. They're reading the clues over and over and he gets fixated on the broom while everyone else is searching the room. He's looking it over up and down, checking the handle for markings, mind you he has terrible near-sight vision, and checking the bristles. Time's running out, and he's arguing with his wife at this point that the broom has the final clue. Time runs up, they walk out and the crew is just dying laughing at him. Someone left the broom by mistake, nothing more, nothing less. He carried that damn broom through 3 rooms. He got a good laugh about it later but he was embarrassed at the time. It was a great story he told the next morning at work. Well, to his credit, that broom was completely out of place. Not sure if this counts. I did an escape room with a group of friends. At the end, you found a flash drive which was supposed to be plugged into a computer. We opened the document and there were instructions to print. We got print, and the printer gave us an out of ink error. We assumed this was part of the game and started looking for a magenta cartridge. Then an employee slipped in the room, replaced the cartridge, and told us to hit print again. Apparently it was not part of the game. They just ran out of ink. I can't imagine building an escape room and thinking, oh, you know what's dependable and works all the time that we should allow the general public to touch. Printers. Nothing ever goes wrong with those. One of the greatest mysteries that regularly haunts my thoughts is how we haven't figured out how to make a decent ducking reliable printer yet.